guys, welcome back to Authentic Lourdes. And I am pleased to introduce you to Claudia. Oh my goodness. This woman we met while we were in Mexico, and she was reminding me, we were like catching up to connect again, and she's reminding me that we were in the car. I was driving. Yes, I was the illegal Uber in Mexico. No.
Ooh.
Story for another time. And I had in the car, I had Claudia and Leah and this other beautiful woman that I forgot her name. I was so embarrassed.
Zurlia.
And you made mention that like we were all meant to be in that vehicle. And that is definitely what I felt every time I was driving anyone up and down the Riviera Maya. But having said that, you were reminding me of this whole journey. So like, okay, we met in Mexico. You had just finished your YTT training.
Yes, in Tulum or Akumal.
Right, in Akumal.
Yeah.
And so then you meet this girl in Playa del Carmen.
Yes.
And I'll say this. What the heck is our subject for today? What is the word that you've told me? Because I want to introduce that right now before we transition into this. But what is this word you've explained to me?
Matrescence. It's really the evolution from woman to mother, or girl to mother, whatever. But it really is that transformation into motherhood that it's comparable to adolescence, right? We all know adolescents. We give them their space. We give them their time. We even excuse them. We're like, well, they're just being teenagers, right? They're adolescents. They're going through shit. And, mothers go through the same thing, and we're not given that space. We're expected to just take on this role and know exactly what to do. And the truth of the matter is that it's like a huge transformation. It's beautiful. And like, if you just give a mother time to soak it in and like love it and be in it, like it just feels so good. But the media and society, they want to like rush that and they want to like squash it.
So this word you said here is like to be with it, to be
yes
in of that season, just like we desire to offer to the teenagers and to everyone in that growing phases. That's really beautiful. So I wanted to share that because that's what we're doing here, talking about that today. This really beautiful space of, maiden to mother. And this word, forgive me, I keep forgetting it, matrescence.
Matrescence.
Thank you. Okay. So here we are in Mexico. You meet Zorelia in Playa del Carmen. And I'm picking y'all up. And I want to hear part of the story from here and how you entered into what was the next phase.
Yeah, definitely. So you're taking us to the airport. We make a stop in Playa del Carmen to pick up Zurlia. And she's like, I have to go back to the States. It's visa related. And I was like, come back with me. I have a place in New York, like I'm living my best bachelorette life in New York City. Join me, girl. Join me on my journey. So she does. She comes along. It really is a journey to get to New York because it's like the weather, canceled flights. We had to make a stop in Miami unexpectedly. So like it really does become a journey just to get to New York. So we bonded in that experience and we just connected immediately. And then being in New York, we were there for like a few weeks and we're like, damn, it's really cold here because it was wintertime. And we're like, let's get out of here. And she needed to go to Cartagena for something. And I was ready to go back because I had just been there for New Year's and I loved it, fell in love with it, met people. So then we go back to Cartagena and that's where I meet the man that I'm in love with that I had my baby with. And like, I didn't meet him that time. I had actually already met him for New Year's for that trip. I met him at the airport.
Okay. Let me understand here. So you met him in Cartagena in the airport, New Year's.
Well, for my New Year's trip. Yeah.
And now you're back in Cartagena again.
Yes.
And you guys reconnect.
Yeah, so we've been in contact the whole time, like we've been sharing NFT stuff, Web3 information, all that good stuff. We remain friends. And so then I'm like, hey, I'm in town. Let's meet up. And so he meets us for lunch. And from that moment on, we're like inseparable. And my soul just like knew it, you know, like Ryder, he was ready to come into the world. He's like, Mom, Dad, you're meeting. It's happening. It's happening fast. So it was like spicy. We were traveling. So then in that point of the journey, we all part ways. So Zorlia goes back home, and then Steve joins my journey. So then I take him to New York, well, to Miami and to New York, and we're traveling. We're like we went to Mexico City, then San Diego, then we ended up in Hawaii, which is where Ryder was conceived.
Oh, what island? What island?
Maui. Yeah, we went to Maui. It was cute. We loved it. We had a good time. We still love Cartagena way more.
Noted.
Yes, we still love Cartagena way more. But you know, we were just traveling, and then we get back to New York, and I like it's been, you know, a while since I got my period, and I was like, okay, it's been like more than a month now. I should look into this. So then I take a pregnancy test, and I'm pregnant. Well, it comes out positive, and I'm like, I don't know, these things aren't really accurate. So I make my boyfriend go get 2 more. These things are like $40 in New York City. So he goes to get more tests. One of them messes up, or I don't do it right, and it comes back negative. So I was like, you see, we don't know. So then I go to the gynecologist the next day.
God.
And the lady, she's like, oh, you're pregnant. You're 6 weeks pregnant. I was like in shock. But I was in shock because I've never had a pregnancy scare in my life. I am a 35-year-old woman at the gyno, and I've never had a pregnancy scare. Never in my life. So I was just, yeah, I was like, I'm a teen mother right now. Like this has never happened to me. So then the doctor was like, you're pregnant. I was like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, we're going to go hear the heartbeat. I was already 6 weeks pregnant at the time. And I was just like, wow, like it was incredible. Just like immediately hearing another heartbeat in your body. Oh, it was crazy. The craziest feeling ever, and so beautiful. And I got to like experience that. Oh man. Ooh, I'm getting emotional, but yeah, just that I'm like just thinking of that moment. And I was like so scared, but also so grateful and like so excited and so full of hope, and like it was like a whole new world opening, you know? And
I want to honor this moment because this is powerful for you to be like, yes, you're scared,
yeah,
and you are grateful, and like
yes.
we can hold all the emotions at a
Oh yeah.
time. Like they're designed for that. That's epic. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course. And you know, it's funny too, because it's like a lot of mom guilt comes from feeling all of the emotions. And I think that's what I mean, like, you know, to give the mother space, like give yourself space to have all of the emotions, because it is okay. It's okay to be 35 and pregnant and scared. You know, like it doesn't just happen to like teen mothers, or like, you know, it's okay. So I was like, wow. So that was a big shock for me, because I had always said that I was never going to have children. My family, they were all in shock. Like it was a big shock to my family and to everyone in my life, and to me too. I was in New York, you know, processing and like getting to know Steve, and you know, we were like planning to have a baby together, but we had also just met.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we're so like
Like,
getting
being
to
scared makes logical sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, duh, at some point that's factoring in. Wow, that's so incredible. And like, kudos to you, woman, for moving through all of that.
yeah.
Because I understand while you're explaining your emotions right now, he had to be moving through the exact same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the same case went for him too. Like his family was in shock, like his friends, they never expected that from him. But we were just like so ready. Like we knew what we were doing. We knew we wanted to like have a baby, and we were ready, you know?
But having said that, if I remember correctly, am I remembering correctly? At first, you guys bonded over the fact that you didn't want children.
Yes, we tell people that all the time. We're like, yeah, we were literally like in a bar in Cartagena talking about how, you know, we don't want children and we just want to keep traveling. And but you know, part of that conversation was just like two people that love travel. And now that I have a child, I'm like, it doesn't have to end, and it doesn't end. You know, like I'm traveling tomorrow with my family. It doesn't have to end.
So you guys moved from that within a few months to being like, okay, well, this is our reality now, and bringing the acceptance to it. I was like, God, this is what I feel about you is so real, is that are you a sun Leo?
I am.
Your sun is Leo. So you moved through, oh my God. What's your moon, woman?
My moon is, I think it's Sag, and my rising is Taurus.
The reason I'm asking is because like you wear your heart on your sleeve in a really beautiful way, and at the same time you move through life with, I feel like, this is just my experience of you, right? Like so much acceptance. Like you recognize, like you bring a lot of the compassionate judge to the table. You're like bring a lot of grace, and then and I feel like it serves you so powerfully. And then you bring the acceptance of like what is present for you in the moment. Damn. Anyway.
Thank you. You know, my sister said that to me once too, and I was like, oh, I like appreciate that. Like, yeah. She was like, I know I can tell you and you won't judge. And I was like, yeah. Because I feel like it's just part of everyone's experience of being human, you know? It's like, it's nothing like, oh, to get worked up about in any circumstance, right? I'm speaking so general right now, but like, I just feel like everyone is having their own human experience, and I just want to hear about it. I don't want to like judge it.
You're like, I want to pick it with you for a moment.
Yeah, like, how's it going for you? Yeah, how's it going for you in that body?
Oh.
But yeah, so you know, we're doing this in New York City without our families at this point. But then we're planning to move to Miami at that point. We know we're moving to Miami. So okay. I have like all these different gynos in New York City trying to tell me what to do. That's one thing I learned about pregnancy, is that it's a huge business and the scammers are everywhere. And it's so sad because it's like they're taking advantage of such a natural process, a woman's body, and they prey on fear. Exactly. They prey on fear. I had this doctor because I was 35 years old. I had a geriatric pregnancy. So that required, you know, all these ultrasounds, like monthly ultrasounds. And I just knew my body, and I knew that I didn't need monthly ultrasounds for me or my baby. And I decided not to do them. And so this doctor sent me like a very threatening letter letting me know that I wasn't taking care of my baby's life. Like the guilt, like the tactics that she used because I wasn't giving her money was crazy. But, you know, and it makes me sad because any other woman would fall for it and feel guilt and like really fall in that trap. I'm lucky that I didn't, even though it was hard not to. Because trust me, I read that letter and it scared me.
I believe that. And the other thing I've observed about you is you're tapped in. You're tapped in and tuned into your five senses deeply, your intuition. Like, God, that's my observation again of you. So like, I feel as women often in modern society, like in modern culture, we because we're taught we got to process. And it's like, my reminder, woman, is this like, it's all working together. The brain is processing. All those five senses are collecting info for me. My brain is processing it. And therefore I get to tune into that, which feels so crazy because it feels ass backwards from what we've learned. But I'm experiencing now, and I've watched you in that too, be like, oh, all that extra sensory information is informing me and my brain is still processing it, even though I don't fully get it. But then I get it later because it becomes so clear. So like you were listening to your body telling you, oh, this is a no. And of course, you feel the emotions that come with that. Yeah, damn. Thank you.
Exactly. Oh, and then another thing, I remember during my pregnancy, I was like 5, 6 months pregnant. And I went to Aruba, you know, for a baby moon. And I went to Miami and Cartagena. And when I came back, she's like, why are you traveling so much? You're pregnant. And I'm just like, bitch, I'm pregnant. I'm not dead. Like, I'm still living. Like, what? The audacity. So all of this to say that I've fired like 3 different gynecologists in New York City because they tried telling me what to do. They tried to fearmonger me. I wanted to take a natural test for my glucose test. None of them would let me. They wanted me to take the version that they have at their office that they get paid to give us. So yeah, I was like a terrible patient, right? For them, but not for me. So finally at 7 months pregnant, I come to Miami. So I have to do the whole thing all over again, find a new gyno. I have to find a doula. And yes, doulas for life. Honestly, like if I can give anybody a piece of advice for like if they're pregnant and they need one thing, it's like get a doula. Get a doula.
I've heard this endlessly. So I'm glad you're emphasizing this because, like, it's a no-brainer. Somebody who's been trained to be with and support you
Yeah.
specifically during that journey.
Yep. Yeah. And you know, they're also very trained to train your partner. And we're pregnant. We don't have time to be training partners. Like I'm a grown woman, he is a grown man. Like I have other things to worry about, you know?
They coach them as well.
They coach your partner. And honestly, it was so worth it because of the coaching that she gave him. And he felt prepared. And he felt part of the journey because of it.
Okay, that is epic. So it's like
Yeah.
you guys were truly along the ride with each other. Wow, woman, thank you for sharing that because that I had not heard before. That
Yeah, absolutely. And even he has deep love and appreciation for her to this day because he's so grateful for like what she taught him. And like, you know, they were both there. I went through my labor without drugs, and it was all because of my partner and my doula and my sister and my mom, but they were all there giving me the massages, like playing the
I was like, could you
music.
say that louder for the people in the
Yeah,
back?
I had a whole team. A whole team. Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
Okay. Well, we're still on track here. You're finding a new gynecologist in Miami. Okay. Well, woman, this is incredible. This is
So,
like you're just dropping gem after gem after gem.
yeah.
I'm excited for your book. Let me just tell you.
Thank you, thank you. Oh my god. But yeah, no, and then in Miami, I'm, you know, again, 35. So every doctor is like, scheduled C-section, like induced labor, all of these words that you hear when you have a geriatric pregnancy. Um, and I'm just like, look, I'm not against any of all of this, but if I don't need it, I don't want it. And I know my body enough to let you know that. And so I went through exactly. And so I went through 2 different gynos here in Miami that both wanted me to do scheduled C-sections, inductions without knowing me. They didn't even know me. I had just moved to Miami. They've never seen me. I'm 7 months pregnant. So I end up hiring a doula. I'm like, I'm not going to hire a gyno right now. I'm just going to hire a doula. And then my doula, I'm going to find my doula. I found my doula. She's incredible. Her name was Serene. Serene Births was her name. And she's she was a,
Piece.
yes,
If you could even see, but that's my tattoo piece.
yes,
My middle name is Irene, but that's beautiful. She's already with that energy, serenity.
yes. She's already with the energy. She's a hypnobirthing instructor, and I'm taking hypnobirthing courses and reading hypnobirthing books. So like we're totally aligned there. And she just, you know, she helps me with the process of finding good gynos that she recommends. And I ended up at a birthing center. So I ended up with a midwife. After all of these gynos, I go back, take it old school, go with a midwife. So I'm at a birthing center now. I'm part of a birthing center. I'm happy. They let me take my fresh test. I don't for my glucose. They let me do whatever I want. They let me be a terrible patient because they're used to it.
Because so what I'm hearing is they're used to people in their sovereignty stepping in their
Yeah,
responsibility for their actual vessels. Like, thank
exactly.
you. I'm like,
Yeah,
thank you.
and
This is why you're such a rebel to the Western way approach. And I say, well, I really want to call it modern culture. It's our modern culture is so
yeah,
like, oh, I'm the one who's informed. Let me bring this to you. And it's like, well, thank you for your education. And my body is infinitely full of wisdom. Life already designed it that way. Thank you.
exactly. And these like geriatric pregnancy, like what's the barometer? Who did you study? It definitely wasn't a Latina. I can tell you that much.
Damn.
You know, like what you know about my young, healthy body, like. So that's also another
Be with that for a moment. Damn.
yeah, so I'm like, no. I was happy. I found my birthing center, my doula, she brought me there. And, you know, in that time, I was just preparing for birth with my family now. I was able to nest. I was able to be with my village. I had my baby shower. It was, you know, it was so beautiful to go from like all of those stages, like traveling, then finding out, being alone in New York, you know, having fear, having gratitude, then coming to Miami and being reassured with your family, with your village, with love.
I have to share this about you. So I get to my beautiful way to observe you is on social media and I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say it, people, and I'm not sorry. Thank you for social media.
Yes.
Social media serves me. I don't serve it. Let me just drop that here. And like, I'm grateful because then I get to witness you in this process and I've seen you and I've felt into you on that journey. And it has felt
Yeah.
delicious for me to witness it because your Leo beautiful sun sign is like, let me show the world some things that I would, care to share. And it has been enriching. This is why I'm excited that you're here and sharing, because I feel like, to be honest with you, you could probably show up a few more times for a few more subjects because like you allow yourself to be witnessed and there is a deep, rich power in that. And I understand it also comes with its uncomfortability. So thank you for sharing because then I've been able to see you. That's how you're here right now because you allowed me to witness you. And I felt so connected to your whole since I met you, I just felt so connected to your journey. I was like, damn. So yeah, thank you for sharing on social.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
Because
that was so sweet.
you were in Miami, you could tell. You were like, I am with the freaking tribe.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love that. And I feel the same way about you. Like I said, you know, we are just connected on our journeys for a reason. And this is part of it. Like there's more to come. Like it's just wonderful. Like how we met and how we're still like together. And all of the women in that car, like I said, like Zulia is so special to me. Lee, you, like what? How is that possible? Like that
And
blows
Leah was pregnant at that time. Oh my God, we
Leah
got
was
more stories on
pregnant.
that. We got more stuff. But bringing you back to, okay, so you're in Miami now, you're with family. You feel like you've got
Yes.
the village around you, you've got the support versus the experience you were having in New York. And
Yes,
was perfect. New
exactly.
York was, like you said, living your best bachelorette life. And then it was like, oh, baby was like, oh, I'm ready now. Ryder's like,
Yeah.
okay, we're here. So I'm going to prepare this whole shift for you.
Yes, he set it up so perfectly, honestly. It was great. Like all the time, like I said, like I've been given the time and space. And maybe I wasn't given it, maybe I got it, you know? I
You
created it.
woman, again, this is my observation. You were like, I am time and space. I am past, present, and future. I am height, depth, and width. And
Yeah.
bam, you were like, this is what is. And I'm going to figure out what it takes to create it because I understand too, that, while we are trust fund babies of life, we
Yes.
also get to fuck with and have fun with how do we create the energy movement and flow of money. So yeah, I know that it wasn't just like, oh, this is just so easy. So you still had to move through and figure that out.
Exactly, exactly. But I had my tribe now, you know, and I was with my midwife. So my birthing day comes. So my birth story is so special. it's funny because sometimes I tell it to people and they're like, whoa. And I'm like, no, it's so beautiful. Like, you had to be there. But but yeah, so I credit everything that happened to hypnobirthing. Of course, obviously, to the people, my doula, my partner, my sister, my mom, my midwife, my doctors, like everyone. But without hypnobirthing, I wouldn't have felt equipped to get through the birth that I had. So maybe that's why to me it doesn't feel like so crazy because to me I was ready. I had the tools and I got through it with the right tools.
That's incredible. So was it a whoa for everyone else who was watching and observing? Or
No, because part of the tools is preparing your birth team. And so my team was prepared and trained.
so only the wow factor only comes from those who are hearing the story.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
okay, I'm listening. I'm all ears. I did not know that you had actually had a hypnobirth. This is incredible. I'm really grateful you're sharing this and like being able to. I'm all ears.
Well, hypnobirthing is a philosophy, right? So anybody can study hypnobirthing and prepare during their pregnancy, no matter what pregnancy they end up having, because it's a philosophy that brings us back to our bodies. It's about breathing. The whole like message of hypnobirthing is that you can get through your pregnancy with your breath and with you controlling the chemicals in your body and you understanding your body and you training and preparing everyone around you to understand that. So I think, again, every part of hypnobirthing is meditating every night. I had a meditation. I meditated every night during my pregnancy. Yes, every single night. And it was so beautiful because I think that that's why I had such like an easy pregnancy, to be honest. And I'm not ashamed
Okay,
to say it.
so am I hearing correct? Thank you for saying that. And were you connecting to Ryder, your little one? Were you connecting to your body? What else were these meditations helping you connect to?
So the meditations were helping me connect to me and to my body and to Ryder. So like it was like we were talking about it. Like we were talking about what was going to happen, how it was going to happen. We were just preparing together for it,
You were opening that timeline, that possible
Yeah.
timeline. Wow.
Yeah. No, trust me, like
You were envisioning
the
that moment.
yeah, we were preparing for it. Every night we prepared for it. I read every single night. The reading was so, I love reading. So I was making sure to do the things that make me happy because that's part of hypnobirthing is releasing those chemicals, how to get more oxytocin in your body, how to get that serotonin, like how do you get those good chemicals released? And the way to do that is by doing the things that you love. It's so easy.
Can you repeat that again, please?
The,
Hypnobirth.
the Yeah, hypnobirthing is about controlling those good chemicals and releasing more of them and using your breath. Your breath is so important. So important.
And so you're supporting and doing the things that help release the chemicals that support the body to do the thing they're designed to do.
Exactly, because I'm training. So I run marathons and half marathons. I'm a runner, and training is a big part of that. So I approach pregnancy how I approached training for a marathon, and it's like training, and training is discipline. And so part of my training was the meditation. It was my bath. It was my reading. It was, my music. I was building a playlist for her birthday. So like that was like all part of it. And so, I don't know, it was just really, really, really special to have, again, that time, that space to do that. And all of that prepared me for the day when my water broke. And I was eating pizza, watching football with Steve. And I was like, I think my water just broke. And so I'm like super calm and collected. I go to the bathroom. I keep like spilling water out of my hoo-ha. It's not as dramatic as it is on TV. It really is just kind of like a cup of water spills out of your vajay. And so, the cup of water is spilled, I text my midwife, I text my doula, I text my mom, my sister. Obviously, Steve's next to me. So my team is prepared and ready. They know exactly what to do, all of their roles. I kind of just chill. My midwife was like, take a shower, go to bed, get rest. Getting rest is important, back to that training, like approaching it like it's training. So I knew race day was here immediately. I was like on race day mode. So I took my shower, I went to bed, I did my meditation, I read, like I did all the things, part of my ritual. The next morning I wake up, I have contractions. I wake up with contractions. So like you feel the pain, you feel it. It's not as bad at the beginning, but a lot of mothers are like, they get nervous and they rush to the hospital after their water break. I just kept on living. I kept on going, and they recommend that to do that. If you have, a normal and you're feeling good, they recommend to just kind of,
if you're not on watch, bed rest and watch.
Yeah. If you have a normal pregnancy and you can just chill, you don't have to rush to the hospital. Like that's how they show it on TV. That is not how things should happen, because then you're in the hospital for 48 hours and you only needed to be there for 8. And they, you know what I mean? Like it's all part of like this whole media thing of rushing to the hospital. No, I woke up, I went to my doctor the next day. I'm like having contractions. I'm like, I show up to the front desk. I remember I'm like, oh, hey, I'm in labor. And then the guy next to me, he's with his like pregnant wife. And he's like, she's in labor. He's like freaking out because I'm in labor, but I'm like so chill. And like, I'm like, hey, I'm in labor. And so they see me and they're like, oh, you're not ready yet. So like I spend the day walking, talking, I'm on the ball, I'm listening to my music, doing my Zumba. Like I'm just kind of preparing, again, training. I had my Cuban food, my sandwich. I am fed, I am hydrated, I am moving. And so the day goes by, I go to the clinic at the end of the day and they're like, oh, you're not ready. So then I go back home, I just chill again, I prepare. And then at midnight is when I'm like, oh, it's go time. And I could feel like it's midnight. I feel my contractions. Everyone meets at the birthing center at midnight. We all get there. We're ready. I'm in the jacuzzi. I'm like pushing I'm not really pushing. I'm more like breathing. Like I'm calm in the jacuzzi. Then we move to the bed. I'm like on all fours, breathing through it. Then I'm on the floor. So like in the birthing center, it's like a hotel suite. It's really nice. I wouldn't do it again in a birthing center because so after 5 hours, I wasn't able to get Ryder out because he was sunny side up at the birthing center. So I was there for 5 hours. The midwife was like, legally, I have to transfer you to the hospital. So we had to do that transfer. So,
okay.
So think about it. 5 hours, I have my crazy contractions, no drugs, access to no drugs because I'm at the birthing center. So I have no
access. And
yeah,
yeah,
I don't have access to it. Like I can't do it. So I'm there for 5 hours in pain, doing everything, labor. Then I have to stop the labor. We do the transfer to the hospital. So the hospital is like a 15-minute drive. She's like, normally I would get you an ambulance, but you don't need it. Just like go drive over there and you'll make it. So we drive over to the hospital. I check in. I'm like, it's like 6 a.m. at that point. They're like making me fill out paperwork. So I'm like, after 5 hours of labor, I'm like filling out paperwork.
Oh my God. Okay, hold up. So are you saying, what would have you done instead of the birthing center?
I would probably just go straight to the hospital, but still have a midwife. So at the birthing center, you can still be part of the birthing center and go straight to the hospital and they'll have your midwife there. The birthing center is like an extra 5K and it's like hit or miss. And I don't know, it could feel like a lot of the births get transferred to hospitals from birthing. Or the next thing I would do is deliver at home. So like delivering at home would be way cheaper than the birthing center, and it's the same thing.
Okay, thank you for sharing. I just want to because my sister-in-law did a birthing center the first time and then home next time.
Yeah, because you learn that it's kind of like, well, I don't really need the birthing center, but the birthing center is like a nice
training wheels. Yeah, I'm just like,
exactly. Yeah.
Matrescence, right?
Matrescence.
We're
We're
in.
learning. We're learning. Exactly. Like if I did it again, I would either do straight to the hospital or at home. Because the
Okay.
birthing center is more of an access thing, I think, and it's like a nice to have. It's more expensive. It's like an extra 5K. So you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's like this midpoint where it's kind of
Yeah.
cozy, like you said. It's like kind of like home, but then like but you have easier access, quicker. You're right. You're near the hospital. Okay.
Yeah. So I go to the hospital, I do paperwork, check in. Their doctors are already in my head. They're like C-section, C-section, C-section. And I'm
Mhm.
like, 1 second. Like, so my midwife prepared me for the hospital, my midwife, and then my doula prepared me again at the hospital. So then I was double prepared. So I'm like, 1 second, I have options. These are my options. I can try pushing a little bit more. uh like he's right, the head is right there, like you could see his head the whole time. So I'm like, his head is right there. And she's like, okay, let me look at you and let me see. So at this point, this is my midwife, so everyone is out and it's just my midwife and me. And
Hospital.
yeah, at the hospital, she's at the hospital. Yeah. So she's like, okay, let's do this. And I was like, yes, I can do it. And she was like, you're gonna push. She's like, I'm gonna give you Pitocin. So Pitocin is to bring back the contractions, because remember, I had taken a break from labor. So she gave me Pitocin, which makes the contractions even more painful, because it induces the labor a little bit. And and I'm on that from like 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'm just like chilling, waiting. They're waiting for my labor to kick up. And so she finally comes in and she was like, okay, let's do this. We're going to turn him around because he's sunny side up. So we have to turn him around. If he doesn't come out, like, you know, we're going to have to, if he doesn't come out within a certain amount of time, we're going to have to do the C-section. I was like, okay, I can do this. Um, and so we worked together. It was the craziest thing. Like, everyone, my sister was there, my doula, Steve, my midwife, the nurses. And I was like, breathing. I was breathing through my contractions. I was approaching it like it was like race day, like I'm crossing the finish line. It was so painful, but I was kicking it, kicking it, kicking it. At this point, still no drugs. So I've been in labor from like 12 a.m. and now it's like 3 p.m. And so finally he comes out at 3 p.m. That last final push, I'll never forget it. Wow, like, I just knew he was going to come out. Like, I knew it. Like, I could feel it, that I could do it, that my body was going to do it. And like, it was so surreal. And like, I had pictured this moment. Like, I had been there before, and I knew what I had to do. I knew exactly what I had to do and how long it would
Pictured
take.
it before, and wow.
Yeah, and that's why I'm telling you, like, hypnobirthing did all of this, because even though I had to transfer to the hospital, I had to deal with that, like, and you know how it is at hospitals when you get there, it's like crazy. And so like, I had to deal with that. Then I had to like get that Pitocin, like get through the pain, like do it without anything. And so I the nurses and the doctors, even they were surprised. They were like, how, I've never seen this, like, how did you go that long, like, no drugs, like nothing. And they kept saying the Pilates runner girl. They kept calling me the Pilates runner girl. And honestly, I do credit Pilates to a lot of that, like being in shape. If you want to get pregnant, if you want to have children, like, get in shape, work on that pelvic floor. Like, it's not a weight thing, it's a strength thing. Strengthen your pelvic floor as a
Muscles want
woman.
to work with you. They want to work with us,
Yes,
not against us.
exactly.
I've seen people overtrain.
Yeah.
Instead of loving their body in the training, it's like, oh, I have to fight my body. I have to
Hmm.
malleably make it to what I want it, instead of recognizing, oh my God, we get to do this together. I think a lot of what's happening is this with instead of the verses. Damn, woman.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, 100%. So I credit, the hypnobirthing, my team, my fitness levels, the fact that I ate I stayed hydrated. Hospitals like to tell you not to eat. I brought my snacks. I made sure to eat.
Didn't.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Hospitals tell pregnant women go 24 hours without eating because hospitals don't let them eat.
Ooh, that puts the body in a oof. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you are literally in like the most strenuous thing your body can do, and hospitals tell you not to eat because they don't want the liability.
What? Okay, damn.
So it's like, you know, I don't know. I made sure that I took care of myself throughout the process.
Well, you have to, because clearly the hospitals are taking care of their asses. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah,
making sure that they're all covered, cross their T's and I's and dotted and all this. And now you've got to take care of you, because if you don't,
yeah,
they got to make sure legally they're cared for. I get it. I
yeah,
get it. You get to take care of you. Like if you come away with a message, that's it. Like take care of your
yeah. Exactly. Take care of your, and that's another thing that hypnobirthing is about, is like standing up for yourself, because we literally are conditioned to not like stand up against our doctors. Like they're the end all be all. And I get it. They have knowledge and experience and they know what they're doing, most of them. But at the end of the day, I also have a voice and I know my body and I have choices. And they know that. They know that. Because if you ask for choices, they give them to you. It's like negotiating. Unless you ask, you're not going to get it. And that's how it is when you're pregnant, I guess.
I talk about this a lot, like agreements. I think we've forgotten the power of diplomacy and
Yeah.
agreement.
Hmm.
I get it. Sometimes we agree to disagree. I get that. That's a thing. And you have a voice, and your ability is to create an agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then again, create a new agreement with someone else. Like you create one with yourself. You create a new one with someone else. Yeah, that's powerful. Damn. Anyway, yeah, thank you for sharing.
Exactly. And asking questions, you're allowed to ask questions. You're allowed to say no. They do like these checkups where they like open your cervix to see if you're dilated. I don't know. They have like these checkups they do towards the end. And I like rejected one because I didn't want it. And it was fine. But like I had a midwife, and I was like a birthing center. If it was any other place, they would have like made a big deal about it. Sometimes make you feel guilty or like you don't want to know when your baby's coming. But it's really just like intrusive.
I have some friends who have had very traumatic births, and they have shared it publicly, their stories, and they were held down, you know what I mean, on the bed. Like
Yeah,
it's bullshit,
it
you know,
is.
instead of them being able, again, the sovereignty of
Yeah.
your own responsibility. Anyway,
Exactly.
yeah,
And, like we have doctors getting trained to do C-sections. They're not even trained to do vaginal births anymore. Some of them, like some doctors cannot do vaginal births. Can you believe that? Can you believe that?
I'm not surprised, but it's bullshit. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
call it what it is. Like
Yeah. And it's like so spiritual.
and find someone else who's trained for that, because like it's not complicated, but a great question. Like I would have never been aware that that was even like, oh, like have you ever have you ever birthed, supported someone in birthing a child? Because let's be real, they're not birthing that baby. They're
They're
only
not.
like, have you supported someone in a birth canal?
Exactly.
Anyway,
Exactly.
interesting. Okay, this
But
is such
yeah.
a good woman.
But yeah, no, having him in my arms that first night, like I remember the feeling when they give you your baby. He's covered in all these fluids and he looks so cute and you're just like, he's mine forever. Like it's
God.
so sweet. And like I still hold him and like I still have that same feeling that I had when they first put him in my arms.
Probably because you imprinted that in you in that
Yeah.
moment.
Yes, I definitely did for sure. But yeah, it was so sweet. And then like the most comical part of the night, however, was for some reason, nobody told us this. I have no idea why, but we didn't know that a baby needs to wake up and be fed every 2 hours. So I just gave birth. We're in the hospital room. My baby's right next to me. And then I'm telling the nurse, like, okay, I'm going to go to bed now. I'll see you in the morning type deal. And she's like, your baby needs to eat in 2 hours. And then 2 hours after that. And then 2 hours after that. And I was like, what? And she was like,
Share something really interesting with you. I'm the first child of my
yeah,
mom, and she said I would sleep. I would sleep.
yeah,
I asked for food when I needed it, and my brother is the second, and he would cry every 2 hours because he was
yeah. Yes,
and
my mom said that about me too, that I was sleeping all the time. She said I slept all the time. We were sleeping babies.
again, well, you had Serenity as your right. As her name was it? Is it
Serene.
Serene? You had
Serene.
Serene as your
Yeah.
doula, like my middle name, right? As I kind of we're in that energy. We're like, peace, please.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but so you're saying so then this is awareness. I love you're eating. I was thinking to myself, I'm hungry. Why the hell didn't I bring a snack? I'm glad you guys. Anyway,
Oh,
epic. So you're saying that okay, you got informed. You got to feed baby.
yeah. So I'm like setting my alarms and I was like, all right, cool. I don't sleep anymore. But honestly, the first year of motherhood, I didn't sleep.
Okay.
I got sleep, but I'm the kind of person that doesn't need that much sleep. So I don't feel like it was torturous at all. I I didn't feel like I was like operating on a lack of sleep frequency or anything like that, you know. So I'm really grateful for that. And again, I credit like my positive mindset and my ability to, I don't know, just
It
like,
sounds like you're pouring into yourself.
yeah, yeah. I feel like the media has a lot to do with this, and I mentioned that a lot, but they like to see mothers like in a stressed state, and like they like to portray that. And you know, in society, we like encourage that too. Like, when is it normal to go up to a group of moms and be like, "Hey, I'm having an awesome day. Everything's easy." Like, no, you know, you're like, "Oh my God, it's been crazy. Like, I haven't even showered in 3 days," and it's like we want to be a part of that narrative to like fit in, but I'm
No,
like, I
thank you.
refuse, you know?
Exactly. I was like, no, thank you. Not prescribing. Cancel that subscription.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah, I'm
I,
not really subscribing to that.
yeah, beautiful. Like you and some other women in modern American culture, and then some women in Europe. They just have this natural flow,
Yeah.
like being tuned in to enjoying the experience of motherhood. But then again, I'm just saying, you continue to pour into you, and you continue to create the time and the space, and like you're declaring that, and you're like it's the thing that it is. So that's powerful. And you're still sharing that like there's still this learning process. Like that's a massive one. It's like, oh, I've got to feed the baby.
Yeah. Massive learning process, like the things that I've done, the things that I've learned, you know, but also the things that I know, you know, like I know exactly what to do for my baby and what he needs. And the fact that I know these things blows my mind every time.
Wouldn't you say your chemicals, all the chemicals in your body are informing you? Again,
Yeah.
all your senses, your intuition is informing you on how to
Yeah.
support. And I'm going to take a guess your partner, because you guys are so tuned into each other, is offering the support as well. Is that so? I don't want to make the assumption.
No, absolutely. Like we're very like intuitive with each other. He's a Cancer, I'm a Leo, he's a Leo rising. Um, so, and I communicate in Cancer. So, like, we communicate very well.
Okay.
Yep. Uh,
That's powerful.
and you know, he's like a sensitive guy, and I'm a loyal gal. So it's like we're king and queen, and we just love it. And he's a great father. Like, wow, I like Ryder chose a great dad. Ryder did a great job. He chose a great mommy and a great daddy. Like, he did an amazing job. Like, they come every day.
And 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 so you feel like you've got support from both sides of the family, and that I
Yeah,
imagine that makes a massive difference.
absolutely, absolutely. And just like the support from Steve too, like he's a stay-at-home dad and I'm the one that works and I'm the breadwinner, and I have like a pretty flexible job too where I don't feel like I'm away from my child all You know, like I don't feel like I put work before him. I don't. Like I work for my family, but I prioritize my family. So I feel like I spend time, I make my time with him. I make time with Steve. Like we have date nights Friday nights.
Oh my God. Oh, I love that. So, woman, what do you do? How can people find you? Like,
Yes. Okay. So I am actually, um, you know, I I feel like I'm this corporate gal that now is kind of shifting into like her motherhood shoes and her motherhood suit, and like that just I don't know, it just feels so nurturing, and I want to nurture other mothers and other women, and like I really want to like bring that part of me out and like explore that part of who I am. So that's really where I am, like I'm evolving as a mother, I'm evolving as a woman, as a partner, as, a sister, daughter. Like I'm always flowing, and I really am in a place where I can tell you that I don't know exactly what that is. And that's so exciting.
but from what you've shared with me, it sounds like, yeah, there's this part of you that really wants to support women in that transition.
Yes,
That
really, really. Yeah, and like, finding their voices, and like and just that positivity, and like blocking out the noise and the guilt, like buy mom guilt. That's not something we want to subscribe to. Cancel that subscription. But anyways, but subscribe to mine, and you can find me.
He's like, if you want a juicy, comfy life, which is challenges still, you're acknowledging it. It's not that it doesn't come with it without the challenges. You've
Yeah,
supported in the challenges, through the challenges. Yeah.
exactly,
And so
exactly. So it's
whatever it is that you are transitioning into, that's what I'm excited for you in this present moment and what's coming. And so, yeah, how
yeah.
do people find you? So
Yes. So my name is Claudia Sandino. You can find me on LinkedIn. That's where I'm honestly the most active, is on LinkedIn. However, if you want to get personal, you can find me on Instagram at hashtag it. A lot of people get confused with this one. I'm not asking you to hashtag anything. I'm just asking you to at and spell out hashtag it. And that's
beautiful.
where you can find me.
And I'll have all that linked below. Y'all could find Claudia, because you do have a children's book, don't you?
Yes, I have a children's book, and I'm working on another book right now. It's a love romance. So
Ooh,
I can't wait. I can't wait to release that one.
I can't
But
wait to read that.
yes. And if you want to talk to me about all things motherhood, if you have questions, even if you don't want to talk about motherhood, you want to talk about something else, let's do it. I'm multi-dimensional, baby.
Please, I'm not even joking, you guys. If anything in you feels like connecting to this beautiful soul, please do, because like it's going to activate something in you. It's going to spark something in you, and it's going to start something. I mean, I've shared with her, like information is like just channeled through me before. And I'm like, woman, I think this is for you. And I just send it to her, and she's like, oh, that's been in my field lately. Like this has been in my orbit, like this certain information. What the hell? Like, okay, like you're another synchronicity to remind me of that. So anyway, damn. So yeah, be up in my
Yes,
orbit.
yeah. And
I'm
I get into action. I'm a Reiki practitioner because of you.
damn.
Like
Damn. Woman, thank you for sharing that. I want to cry.
I'm legit certified in Reiki because of you.
It just came through, and I felt like, oh my God, I have to tell this
Yeah.
woman to send you a voice message. I think it's time for you to tune into Reiki.
And I did. And I did it. And that's a message for everyone. Like if you get a message from the universe and it feels right, do it. Like it's a message. And for me, I always take note of who the message comes through, and like that's like the most important thing for me is who it's coming through. And the fact that it came through you, I knew it was legit. I knew it was right. I knew it came from one of my guides. I knew it came from love. And I knew it was right.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. So I know that's activating so much inside of you. It's
Yeah.
so wow, woman. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Can we do this again?
Yes, I feel like we didn't even finish. I feel like there's so many questions unanswered.
So I'm just gonna say this is part 1, you guys. Okay, and like because then so that's your intro to the story, and then we'll get into more of this matrescence energy. Because woman, you've shared with me things that I'm just like, I feel like you dropped 50 gems in this hour now, and I know that you have more because you've shared more with me. So yes, please and thank you. Let's do this again. This is part number 1, you guys, and yeah, I'm gonna say, like, don't go anywhere, but I'm gonna say, let's wrap this up for this moment. And down in the description box, you'll see how to connect to Claudia, because like, yeah, you guys, if you feel like connecting with her, there's something in you that moves you, yeah, let's go. Don't wait.
Love you all. Bye.